What's bonking, everybody? My name is Biggles. I am dressed as Ryuji, and I am joined by my friend who has done a Joker cosplay. Oh, wait, I hear myself. I should mute myself. There we go. She has done a cosplay of Joker. She is the one who got me into Persona. So I will let her introduce herself real quick, and then I will take over for the show.
Hi, I'm Emily. Usually go by M by my friends, but yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that's all she's got for you. Okay, so Emily, you were the one who got me into Persona 5. We were sitting at the lunch table, and you're like, you have to play this game. If you like Fire Emblem, you'll probably like this game too. Yes. So I took you up on that, and while I was playing it, I was messaging you all the time, like, oh my God, this just happened. Like, this is so cool. And I would be editing my videos, and there'd be like a 5-minute pause, and it's just me on my phone messaging you about stuff. And I'm like, well, I can skip all this, and we would just I would skip ahead, and we'd go to the next one. And the funny thing is, we just finished Futaba's Palace, and it's almost been a year since I started the playthrough.
Here, 1 second.
That's fine. I can keep going. So I'm just going to mute you, and then you can click the unmute button when you come back. So I started playing Persona 5 because of M, and we talked about it like every day, and there was a span where I was like, man, I just need to know what happens. And I recorded probably about 8 hours in one day of just playing. Gosh. And that's not including when I was at Okumura's Palace or Okumura.
Oh God, Okumura.
Because that was 5 hours just for the boss fight. Okay.
Yeah,
and I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
That's the worst one.
Yeah. So let's start, because we are talking about the palaces and the boss fight. Do you have a favorite palace?
Yes, easily it's Sai's Palace, because I mean it's got the best soundtrack, best boss fight, one of my favorite confidants you gain kind of from, like every palace you kind of gain a confidant. I really like Akechi, so I like having him in my party. And I don't know, I think, and then also I love how it ties into what you see in the beginning, which is the interrogation and him getting caught, and it's all coming together. So I think just all of that is a conglomerate of, I just love that palace. It's so good, especially after Okumura's poopy palace. It's nice.
And she's the best looking shadow, by the way.
Yes, I love her shadow design. Her shadow design is so cool, and it's especially the big monster, her second
the second form.
Yeah, phase. Second phase is so cool.
Yeah. Plus, Sai is awesome, and I still think her younger sister Makoto is the better one, but we can argue that later if you would like.
my card's name is Sai. After Sai.
There we go. There you go. You heard it here first, guys. So my favorite is actually the first one, Kamoshida's Castle. And the reason why is I wanted to kick that guy's ass so bad. I hated him so much that it was my favorite. And I was just like, oh, look at this. And then you get on to the party, you get Ryuji in the party, and I'm like, yes, awesome. And I was just like, this is awesome. I'm loving it. And I guess when you're in the boss fight, I picked Morgana because I'm like, I want to fight with Ryuji. But I guess in that boss fight, if you choose on to go, he's like, where are you going, Takamaki? And he's like all creepy and he's like, I won't take my eyes off you.
Yeah, my brother and I were talking about that yesterday. We were talking about how the first palace is super, if you can get past the first palace, you can get to the rest of the game. Mm-hmm. But the first palace is the most realistic in the sense of how kind of dark it is and how realistic it is. With everything else, it's kind of either goes with the plot or it has something to do with something a little more fantastical, like Yusuke's palace, obviously Madarame. There are people who take advantage of the young like that, but his was like kind of fantastical. Whereas like I feel like Kamoshida's was super grounded in reality almost. It was kind of
Yeah.
made it even more dark and kind of like gross. Like it makes him so unlikable. You're like, ugh, get out.
Everybody had that creepy coach at school.
Yeah.
Mine was our social studies teacher, who was also one of the coaches. I think he might have coached volleyball for a little bit. So it fits in. It's even funnier. I'm not sure if he did coach volleyball, but I think he did. Maybe it was softball. He coached one of the girls' sports. But I just know it wasn't soccer.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, we had a creepy coach in my junior high. So I felt
yeah,
that.
see, everybody has their creepy coach, and Kamoshida was Persona 5's creepy coach. So I know you really like Yusuke, but is Yusuke your favorite character?
Yes. Well, yeah, he'd probably be my favorite, just because. I mean, if we're talking about favorite in the sense of just in general, yeah, Yusuke. I mean, he makes me laugh, and I think he's just the funniest character on the planet. Every time he says something, it cracks me up. But in terms of story, I mean, yeah, no, Yusuke is my favorite character. Easy.
Look who's here.
Oh yes, this is my friend Winter and my other friend Diablo Curse. Love them. They love Persona 2. And me and Kayla actually did Akechi with me when I was Joker. So that's my buddy Akechi.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures. Very good cosplay. So creepy coaches. Yusuke's your favorite. Do you know who my favorite is? I know
Ryuji, right?
It's actually Justine, but
Justine.
I love the Warden twins. I love them. Like, especially when they're like, when you have to take them out, like, to introduce them to like the burger place, and they're like, "What are those things? Pickles!" Like, and I love the twins, and they're so mean to Joker that I love them. But Ryuji is a close second, like very close. It's like neck and neck. They're almost interchangeable, you know. But Justine is my favorite, and then Caroline's not as cool, but yeah. And I don't like when they fuse because I lose Justine. So, so I have like
moving to Lavenza.
Yeah, I was so sad. I was like, no, give me back the twins. Yeah. So, so we start off this game playing, and you're like the new kid at school. You get in trouble because some pervert is like messing with a woman, trying to like force her to do stuff. And we find out later that we run into this guy constantly, and he ends up being like the big boss. So
besides Cheeto.
Yeah.
Well, Cheeto, we call him Cheeto, but
I call him Dickhead. That's my name for him, you know. Yeah. If you guys have a favorite character in the chat, you can put it down. I see we have another Yusuke in there.
Well, that's just because Yusuke supremacy, and I'm sorry, he should be dateable, and I will go into why. For
go for it.
I'm good right now.
I'll give you 5 minutes to talk about why Yusuke should be dateable.
Well, okay. First of all, you take him on a boat date. Like, come on. That's one of the early confidants. That's not even like the dating one. That's like the fourth one. You go on a boat date with Yusuke, and someone on the other side even thinks you guys are dating. And I'm okay with that. But he's also just so, I don't know, he's just adorable. I feel like him and Joker have so much chemistry. More than like any of the other characters. But I just, and oh yeah, and me and Kayla agree that they definitely gave Akechi more chemistry with Joker as well than any of the other characters for whatever reason. The fact that you go home one day and you can say, "Honey, I'm home," greatest thing ever added.
Now, from a gameplay thing, he's also really good to level up because you can get all your cards. And like the first time I was like, man, I don't have time for Yusuke. I want to just hang out with Ryuji. then I was like, I gotta date all the girls, you know. So I was like distracted by trying to like date the girls. And you know what? I never like hung out with the fortune teller at all. Like I didn't even know she was like dateable. And then like I didn't get Hafume until like way too late. So like I'm going to have to like replay it and just be like, okay, I got to date like all the girls, get all the stuff right. But now it's like I don't have to get level ups. Now I know that the fastest way to date them is have their persona matching with you in your party. Yep. I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you have a matching arcana for that person, it does help a lot. I usually try, especially in my second playthrough, I'll buy the personas I want and I'll buy them in whichever whichever arcana I want to get up that time.
Yeah. So I didn't know that, and I figured it out like maybe at the very end of the game, but like I didn't really learn how to play until that Akumura fight where I was like, it's been 4 fucking hours. What am I doing wrong? And then yes, that is who that is.
Yeah, she's the one at the church.
Yeah.
She was supposed to be a phantom thief, fun fact, but they made Haru instead.
Yes.
Worst decision in the entire game. But
yes. Even worse than not being able to date Yusuke?
Yeah. And also Sai isn't dateable, which is also a crime as I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree with Binja. Not being able to date Sai is the biggest crime that game commits.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So so the doctor is my favorite like relationship one. Because that's like my childhood right there. The goth punk girls, you know. That was like my childhood. And when you first meet her, it's like punk rock girl or whatever. And I was like, yep, I'm in. I'm in. So like I started to like date her, right? And like these last couple of videos on my channel, like Thursday's video of last week, I was like, man, my teacher won't stop calling me, right? And then like I go and hang out with the doctor because now they're a couple, and she's like stays in my room. And then the next day, the teacher comes over and cleans up, and I named it Doctor or Teacher Cleans Up After Doctor. You know?
Oh,
wrong doctor. Yeah. So
no, Murky is best doctor. I love Murky. I wish Murky was dateable for my own personal gain.
There you go. But you said it was another creepy like relationship with a teacher. Like
I don't know. Student. I feel like Takemi's is the least creepy of the adults you can date because I don't think she's that old, but still, I don't know. I prefer to date them. It's so weird that you can date. Why can I date them and not the high school Yusuke? Like Yusuke is my age, man. That's another thing.
Right. They're like, nope, you got to date the older people, right? But yeah, so the relationships in this game are kind of fun, and like you also get bonuses from hanging out with them. Wait. There was it's not here yet. It hasn't showed up on this part. There you go. Both doctors are hot, bro. Like,
no, agreed.
I don't know why, but I feel like Maruki would wear socks with his sandals.
Well, he doesn't. He just wears sandals. Dogs out.
I know. I have 2 hands. But yeah, so I started dating her, and then
sorry, that comment took me out.
I have an idea what that's about, but I don't know if I'm right. So I'm going to keep it in my head, and it can be confirmed later or not. So I started dating her, and then I was like going with the and thing or on, and I was just like, damn it, I'm dating her too. And then like I felt really bad that like at the end I chose on, even though I wanted to choose the doctor. And I was just like, damn it. And then I got smacked in the face and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, you got that harem, bro. That's what happens when you date too many girls.
And I was like,
Get the consequences.
that's awesome. And then Sakura's like, man, I'll try to help you fix that. Like, you need to do something better. And he gives you the thing to go to the other place, right? He like helps you get like a better date or whatever. And you turn out that you take the other girl and you get in trouble. You get in more trouble. Yusuke is out of Joker's league. That's why you can't date him. There you go.
So valid.
There you go.
So
but like, you can also be friends with Ryuji, and you find out Ryuji's backstory. And Ryuji's backstory is my backstory. Okay, they stole my life. All right, I started liking baseball first, and then went to track, just like Ryuji does. When you're playing the video games, you find out that he loved baseball, and then he went to track. He got in a fight with a coach that ended up becoming the track coach and getting a leg injury. Okay, that's what happened to me. I got in a fight with the coach, and then I got a knee injury. So there is a bunch of backstories with Ryuji and me. And then Ryuji acts just like me, or at least when I was Ryuji's age, acted just like me. I'm a little more calm now, and not as perverted as Ryuji is anymore. I've calmed down a lot, but Ryuji is basically me, and we have the same backstory, so they stole my story, and they just made it better. But yeah, I love Ryuji. Ryuji's awesome. I love all the characters. I don't know. Well, like Haru, like I only like her gameplay wise, because gameplay wise, I think she's like really good. But like other than that, I'm like she's just there.
She's just boring. I don't know. I feel like her commentary isn't as like interesting as the other characters. Like everyone else kind of has something to say, and she just kind of doesn't. Every time she speaks, it's something uninteresting. Whereas everyone else, and her story's just kind of like, I don't know. You haven't played Persona 4, but her story for me kind of falls into the same category as a girl in Persona 4, where Yukiko, where her story starts and and by the end she's the same person. Like she didn't get any kind of growth at all, and I don't know. She's just not very interesting to me. Whereas like on Ryuji have the idea of they were all taking advantage of adults, really. Whereas I feel like Haru, yeah, her dad, I guess, was taking advantage of her, but it was more like he was corrupted by adults that were like, making him do his thing. Like Shido was kind of puppeteering him, which in turn turned him against his daughter, which is like, okay, that makes sense, whatever. But then everyone else, I feel like, has an actual, I don't know, they actually have something to say about the social commentary that Persona's trying to go, which is, the problems in Japan. So I don't know. Haru's just uninteresting in every way, and her hair is awful, like grandma hair.
Well, see, I don't pay attention to the hair because I'm a dude, so I don't really notice that kind of stuff. But I know you do not date on. Do you want to explain why you don't date on in this?
Because she has no chemistry with Joker, and her romance is boring, and she should be with Ryuji instead. And I don't want to take her away from him. And also, yeah, I don't know. An's just not that interesting to me in the sense of dating. She's also just not the most interesting of the girls, but I do really like her story. But I don't know. I just don't date her. She's not interesting. There's other people I prefer. Plus, I mean, I just don't really think about who I'm dating, because when I play the game, I mean, that's like a fun aspect of it. When I'm playing the game, it's like, I don't know. I'm just like, that works. I usually just go for Makoto or like Yoshizawa, depending. But yeah, that's why I don't date on.
So the story in the game, if it wasn't like a dating game, like if it didn't give you like these dating possibilities in this game, it really feels like they were trying to put them together. Like as we were talking about like a while ago, I am not into shipping. I was like, I'm just waiting for these two to happen, like, and that person becomes super powerful from it. My little All Might theory, and you're like, you're shipping just like everyone else. I was like, no, the show is telling me this is what's going to happen. You know, like they're going to be together, right? But like On and Ryuji, like the whole time, like it, like even when I was like dating On in the game, she cared more about Ryuji than she did me when like stuff happened, and I was like, yes, they definitely wanted Anne and Ryuji to like be together, or On and Ryuji.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think honestly, I think the game pushes Makoto and Joker more just because there's so many scenes of like, I mean, their entire confidant is like the fake dating, and
Yeah,
also it's like there's so many moments where she falls on him or whatever, just like stupid
yeah,
anime tropes. But
right
like,
in
yeah,
the in Sakura's house where she's
hmm
like, oh, it's dark, and she's like holding on to him like really tight, right? It just fits. Like I don't know. My next playthrough, I'm definitely dating Makoto, right? Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Like that's who it's going to be. You know, like I'm just going to do it.
hmm
And then I think I'll have like a separate playthrough where I like date every single girl so I can get the achievement. Uh, but yeah, definitely Makoto. And when I do Makoto, like it's no one else gets in. You know, I'm going to be loyal to Makoto, unlike I was to the other girls. You know. So yeah,
hmm
you gotta know who to keep, right? I even
yeah.
watched a really bad anime because it had Makoto's voice actor. So
Yeah, that's how it always be.
so let's talk about the palaces because we have some time. So
Mhm.
the first palace is so there's 8 palaces, but like the first 7 are like the 7 deadly sins or something like that, kind of. Like if you
Um,
get the skulls, I
yeah,
think.
relatively. It's kind of like I mean, in every single calling card they refer to the person as one of the sins, whether it be like, the first one is lust, second one is greed, I believe. Third one is gluttony. I can't remember all of them, but yeah, they go by like sins, but you start to run out of them. So they, after a while. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, they're not really based off of them. It's just I think it's just an aesthetic thing for the different palaces. But yeah, I mean, like the first one, I think it just has to do with every single, like with the themes, I guess. Um,
yeah. The first one was a castle too,
mhm,
which and like there was just like you meet Kamoshida's shadow, and he's like in a crowd, like pink underwear or something like that, right? I think he's
mhm.
in pink underwear, and he's got a robe on. And I was like, "What the fuck? This dude's in like pink underwear," and I was going off having a ball on it. Like the first time I met him, like it was just I was laughing so hard. And that one, like you see, he's like torturing all the volleyball kids, and like he's
Mhm.
got like all the girls, like mostly On, like obsessing over On.
Yeah, which is so gross, and Shiho and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good first palace. I don't know. I like that palace, but I always find myself kind of rushing through it because it's mostly tutorials, and I'm like, I kind of just want to get to what I already
Oh,
know. I think,
yeah.
especially after playing it, like on my 7th time playing it
Uh-huh.
right now, just finished Kanashiro's palace, and it's like, oh my gosh, I just want to get past it because it's all tutorial. It teaches you how to play, and you're like, I already know how to do this, and so I like that palace, but I think it definitely overstays its welcome after a while, especially when you've played it so many times.
There should be a skip tutorial like there is
I
in other games.
agree. Yeah, I agree because the tutorials get kind of old, but I mean, it's kind of ingrained in the story. Like, Morgana is like, oh, we're gonna do this. And it's like, okay, cool.
Like,
I get it.
shut
We're
up,
doing
Morgana.
yeah, we're doing this. Like, I get it. But no, it's a good one. I do enjoy Kamoshida. It's better than some of them.
Mhm. Well, then there's Matarame's palace, right, which is the museum,
Hmm.
which it's kind of cool because like the beginning, like when you go in, it's like you sneak in rather than like the other one where you're just kind of there.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool, and then it went instantly into fighting, and I was like, okay, whatever. There goes the stealth, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so I was like, ah, and then you see all his like students that he took advantage of and stole all their art, and you're like, you're like, you. I remember you telling me Kamoshida's like not even the worst one, and like I thought he was worse than like five of the seven, right?
Yeah,
Or
no,
five of the
I
six.
definitely agree. He's worse in the sense of a real world context. Because I mean, if someone in real life was murdering people through their brains, I feel like that would be a little bit crazy. But again, that's like fantastical. So I do think Kamoshida is probably the worst in reality.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I feel like some of them it's like, ooh, that's pretty bad. Like Futaba's mom basically basically gaslighting this little kid into thinking that she's the reason her mom killed herself. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's really awful.
yeah. But see, Futaba is like not the bad guy. Like that's still Shido in that one, I think. Right?
um well, I mean, in that one, it's her cognition of her mother, which has been distorted by adults,
Mm-hmm.
gaslighting her into thinking her mother hated her. It's not Shido. Shido never did his own dirty work. That was the point of Akechi. He would use his younger son, who didn't even care about, to do his dirty work, so then he could later prosecute him and then use him as a scapegoat. So
Mm-hmm.
Shido was honestly the most useless, most manipulative person because he never did his own dirty work. He just watched everyone else do it.
Yeah, he
So I
was
wouldn't
just a
really,
dickhead.
yeah, I wouldn't give him the glory of saying he did any of that. If anything, it was Akechi.
So Akechi is the greatest villain of all time,
In my opinion, he's my favorite villain of all time. Yeah.
and his voice
Personally, my
actor's
favorite.
pretty awesome too.
Yeah, he's very nice, which is so funny.
Uh, yeah. So the third one is a bank. That was boring as hell. Like I
That one is
hated that one.
very that one's not my favorite.
Uh, and then let's see, there was Okumura's, which was a space theme, and I was so excited to be in space. Right? You kept telling me how bad the music was. I
Mhm.
never even noticed there was music in that place.
I don't
Like
know how Road's like, "No, no, 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 no."
my, I think my brain just like kicked it out, and I didn't even know there was like music playing. And I was just like, okay, let's. And then you had to go through all these vents, and I was like, this is just fucking taking forever. And then I had the 5 hour boss fight, and I was like, this sucks.
Yeah, I told you before you even started playing it that was pretty bad.
Yeah. So I was very upset about that boss fight. And then 6, we got the casino, which was so cool. And then you got Crow, and uh, I remember texting you around this time and being like, so I think the man in black is a catchy based on the eye colors. I was like, the other person it could be based on the eye color is Psy, but I don't really think that. I think it's more a
Mhm.
catchy. And at that time, like I had forgotten about the pancake thing because it had been like 3 days since the pancake scene, I think, for me. And
Mhm.
I couldn't remember it because I was playing it so fast that I didn't remember. But when Akechi said pancakes, I was like, this guy's been in the metaverse. This is the bad guy. And
Mhm.
I knew that it was Akechi then, but I had forgotten by the time I was texting you, and I was like, yeah, I think it's Akechi. I think Akechi's the man in black, right? Uh,
Yeah. It's his
so
Loki persona.
yeah, I kind of already figured it out. Which one do you like better, the Loki one or the Crow one?
The Loki one. I think the Crow one looks so dumb. Like this
It's
little beak and stuff. I don't know. I think that one, the Loki one, just looks better. I mean, I think it also looks kind of goofy, but I think it looks better.
mhm,
Um, but I don't know. I mean, I just like that. I like the idea between the duality of. I mean, I just love Joker and Akechi's dynamic because they're like the sun and moon. Like Akechi and a Joker got the same, the same power. They were both supposed to be the wild cards. Well, Akechi was, but Akechi was so jacked up that he just used this power to get revenge against a father that never liked him or cared about him. And then Joker, on the other hand, he's the protagonist, so he uses what he's supposed to do and does it how he's supposed to do, and harnesses the power to help everyone and follow this rigged game. But I think the juxtaposition between them and Akechi's potential story is so interesting. Like, if they had just met a little earlier, like, Akechi probably wouldn't have ended up the way he did. He just needed one positive influence, one person to believe in him, and he would have had that if he had the friends the Joker has, which is why he's so angry and hates them, because he just wants to be Joker. He wants that. So
and you can beat him in pools, so he doesn't like that either.
No.
Because he's like, oh, next time I won't go easy on you. I won't play with my left hand or whatever.
Well, he beats you still, even with his left hand in the second confidant.
Yeah. But then you beat him, so.
Yeah, no, I really like the juxtaposition between those two. I think it is one of the coolest parts of the game, which is why I love in the royal opening how they're laying down right next to each other. And Akechi's frowning and Joker's smiling. I'm like, I love that. And I just don't know why. I don't know. I love them together, like, as characters and stuff. They're super cool. I think it's just, I love that kind of juxtaposition stuff. So I think that's why I really like Shido's Palace, because you get that Akechi monologue, which will forever be my favorite part of Persona. The Akechi monologue is my favorite.
It is a very good monologue. I think I texted you like right after it, and I was like, I forgot exactly what I said, but I said something like, what did I say? I was like, Akechi's the bad guy or something. I don't know. Like, he just like came in and like shot the dude and saved us or something. I don't remember exactly what happened.
He gets killed by the puppet version of himself, and therefore never really gets apart from Shido. But in his last moments, he tries his best to, by killing his puppet self. So in the end he had his redemption, even if it ended with him dying. Which is why Royal is so sad, because he dies a puppet, and then he just gets basically revived into another puppet by someone else.
Where he's
and it's
forced.
Like, oh yeah, it's so sad. I'm like, that's awful. Knowing that, and he realizes it, and you're just like, oh.
So maybe Maruki is the better villain because he fucked him up more,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he messed him up more since he was just a puppet. I don't think he had any damage on his psyche, but I mean, Maruki was definitely a good villain in the sense that I think we could all become Maruki thinking we're doing the right thing, when in fact we're just controlling people.
I noticed that's why you never go talk to a therapist. So.
I noticed in my playthrough this time, all the questions he asks you when you're doing exams, they all have to do with his palace, which is always so interesting to go back and listen to what Maruki says, because you can, if you now that you know where he's been or like where he's gonna go, you can see it just in how you speak with him. He likes the answers where you say, "Oh, pain should just go away," because he wants to take quote unquote easy way out. But he asks about totalitarianism and then defines it, and how he defines it is exactly what he does at the end of the game, which I was like, that is so cool. I love that little aspect of like the little detail of
that. Most of my meetings with him, like he told me I need to like I need to focus on him. So like anytime he popped up, I took him. But I feel like I only got like at most like one of the little notes that popped up with him, because I was like, because all his answers, like I was like, nah, and like I don't think he liked me very much, because every time I had a thing with him, it was like, no, but I was like, no, that's a stupid answer. I don't want to answer that one. And like it's like for his character, and I like never picked up on it at all. Like even when it was like his palace, I like still was like, oh, it's Maruki's palace. I get it now. Like I was out of it. Like I didn't even pick up on it that it was going to be him.
Yeah, well, they kind of steer you towards that it's going to be Kasumi slash like Sumire's palace because she's the one she awakens her persona in it earlier in the game.
Mhm.
There's like it's at the arena where she wants to that never got finished, just like kind of her story is never going to finish because of the death of her sister. And I I like that. I like that misdirection. I'm playing with my friend right now who, never played any other Persona games, doesn't really know anything about like vanilla
Mhm.
Persona. And right now she thinks that Yoshizawa is the black mask because she has a black mask.
There you go.
And I'm like, that's valid enough. It's kind
Hey,
of another good misdirection.
I went with the eye color, and Yoshizawa has red eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she does.
There you go. But yeah, so uh, let's see, what was I talking about before we started talking about Maruki? The palaces. Then you get the ship, and you really notice how much On cares about like Ryuji again, because when everybody's like hurt at the end and Ryuji makes it back, she like goes straight to Ryuji to check on Ryuji rather than anyone else. Yeah, so
Oh, I hate that part.
you hate that
I
part?
oh my well, I hate that they beat him up. Like that just makes no sense to me.
Oh, at the end, yeah.
Oh my gosh, it makes me so mad, especially because literally literally earlier he talks about how his dad beat him. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, let's do that again. I don't know. It's so tone deaf. I don't know. I don't like it. I
And then
know
the
in like
track players beat him up earlier,
yeah, it's like why is this a theme? Like I know it's not that deep, it's a video game, but it's like that's kind of feels tone deaf, especially because he confides in you about how like his dad used to beat him. I'm like, okay, why is there 3 segments where he gets beat up? Like I don't like that. Like that doesn't sit well with me. So I just really hate that scene. I know it was like made for gags or whatever, but I don't think anyone liked that scene. I don't know a single person who's ever liked that scene. So yeah, I agree. I think he was treated pretty bad throughout the entire game for like no reason. I mean, like you can treat him because you can be so mean to him if you want, but
I'm never mean to Ryuji. Ryuji's
no,
the
me
best.
neither. He's your best friend. Yeah,
Yeah.
he is. I feel like he is the most selfless. No one else offered to go run and try to get them off that ship. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And he brings
Plus,
Yusuke to get beef bowls when he has no money. So
yeah. And he also is the one who gets you to call your teacher. There you go. He's the one who helps you get the teacher. And then on top of that, he's the one who helps get the track team back together, right?
That's all he wants, and he doesn't even want to be a part of it anymore.
Yeah. So he
And
does
then
so much for other people.
yeah, he literally never puts himself first, I feel like, ever. He's always doing something for someone else, which I just really like. But then they just kind of just like a butt of the joke. Like I get it in Japan he's not as popular because he doesn't really fit stereotypes or like the way they like. But I don't know. I don't know why he's the butt of every joke. Like all the other bro characters in 3 and 4 are not treated like that. I don't know why Ryuji gets like because like okay, you haven't played 4, but the bro character in 4 is so annoying. Like he's not as good as Ryuji, and he's not as selfless as Ryuji. He's like actually kind of a jerk, and he's so mean to one of your other confidants. And you're like, bruh. I don't know. I don't know why they treat Ryuji like that though. It makes me mad. But I hate that scene at the end of the
Well,
ship.
I think it's like because they're more like collective, and that's why he's more liked here because he's more of an individual, while the other ones are more like the collective.
Yeah,
And
no, that's exactly right.
so that's why Ryuji is fucking awesome. But which Yoshizawa do you like better?
Well, Sumire, because that's actually her. I
So,
mean, Kasumi
like,
is not even real. Kasumi's been dead for almost a few months, and I mean, I like
well, I mean,
Sumire.
like her as the characters.
Sumire, because that's
Okay.
actually her.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
I mean,
Kasumi
like,
is not Kasumi. I mean, even when she is Sumire, she's acts exactly the same, just a little sadder because she remembers that she feels responsible for the death of her sister.
mhm. So that makes sense there. Let's see. We can. Do you want do you have anything else you want to talk about, or do you want to go into the tier list? And we can let chat jump into the tier list too. So
Okay. Yeah, I'm good with that.
okay, we'll jump into the tier list. So we got the tier list here. I'm going to. Oops, I hit that button on the wrong screen. All right. So we have our tier list, and the funny thing is, Justine is my favorite, but I don't remember which eye patch is hers. So I don't remember if this is Justine or
That's Caroline.
Caroline. I usually recognize them because Caroline has the beating stick that she beats the shit out of Joker with, and that's how I remember. So we have on first Panther, the love of Ryuji's life that Joker just steals because he's not a good friend. So on, where would everybody place on?
I think I'd personally put on, in terms of character. I mean, I really like On, but she's like probably a low A, high B for me because she is I think one of the weaker Phantom Thieves in my opinion. But I still really like her. I just feel like she, after the first palace, she kind of becomes just there.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think I still love her. Like I love On, but she's just not the most interesting of, like, I don't think she has the most interesting as everyone else.
Then we'll put her as a B.
Like definitely a high B, like very high B, but definitely probably for me personally a B.
All right. Then we got Caroline, the beater of Joker, the twin of Justine. I love
I
the
mean,
twins. I think the twins
yeah,
are. She's not as good as Justine,
that's
but
where we differ. So I'll let you do that one. I'm not a big fan of the twins. I prefer Lavenza. Just because I think the twins are fairly annoying, especially when you play the game multiple times. They just don't be quiet. That's why I like Justine
mm-hmm.
more because she is more quiet. And I'm not a big fan of the very aggressive characters like Caroline. Like I get the shtick, but I'm like whatever. And again, like
Mm-hmm.
it's not really them. Like it's split. So I don't know. I don't really, honestly. I think Persona 5 kind of has one of the weaker. Like I like the twins. I think they're fun, but when it comes to like character, I think I prefer some of the other Persona Red Velvet room
Mm-hmm.
attendants. But they're fine. So I'll let you come up with that one.
All right. Well, she's all right. She doesn't have the character growth. Um, she's not as funny in like a lot of the cutscenes as Justine. So this next one is the fortune teller. I only went to her twice, so I don't know anything about her. So this is all you.
Fortune teller,
Um,
she's one of the most boring in terms of confidant. One of the most boring confidants there is. I mean, it's like it could have been interesting, but I think it falls flat. So I put her at like a low C, probably. She's not the worst confidant. That goes to someone else, which will come up in the tier. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh,
there you
yeah.
go.
It's not like, interesting at all. Like she's fine, but her confidant is boring. But I do really like that she is like the person who you tell Mishima about, and he's like it cracks, that whole conversation cracks me up because
Mm-hmm.
Mishima cracks me up. Um, we're all Mishima. Mishima is the Persona 5 fan base. Um,
Well, I'm not like him at all. So
no, if you
I
like Persona 5, you're just like Mishima. We are all Mishima. We are all the fan club. We are all the fanboys. Would all be the ones on the fan site who would want to be helping the Phantom Thieves.
you forget I don't usually associate with the fan bases. Kind of stay away.
Sir, you are dressed as Ryuji. You are
That
associating with the
doesn't
fan base.
matter.
You
I
are
am
Mishima.
Ryuji. Okay, he stole my backstory. Okay, he stole my backstory. The scar on my lip is from my father. There you go. Even more
Oh my
backstory
god.
stolen. Futaba, the geek girl, um, the one where you sent me the video to catch a predator. You know, Futaba. So where's Futaba?
Um I like Futaba. She's funny. She's definitely a high B, low C. Um
Wait, how is she? How is she a high B but a low C?
No, I don't know. I like Futaba. I'll put her at A. I think she's one of the better Phantom Thieves.
She does have the most character growth, and it's because they stole her heart, So we'll give it to her. Someone finally shows up, No, I'm just kidding. So Akechi, I'll let you talk about it, but
no,
yeah, go for it.
He's not S tier.
He's not?
He's high A tier. S tier is only reserved for a few people. My my brother would put him at D tier. My brother doesn't really like Akechi, but I personally like Akechi. But that's mostly just because he's my favorite villain. So I'll put him at a high A. But I think Futaba's better, so maybe a little lower, like Futaba above. Yeah.
So I figured by you saying he is the greatest villain of all time, he would be S tier.
No, S tier is for two people in particular. So I'm saving that one. So S tier is very high on my list. It's hard to get in the S tier for me.
Well, my first rule for when we were doing tier lists for like the first 3 episodes, we could only have 3 people in there. But then we had Demon Slayer and someone. We were like, no, we need this character in S tier. We can't leave out. We can't leave this character out. So we changed it.
I have my people up there.
All right, so we have Haru.
D. I do not like Haru, and I will stand by it. I can't stand her. I skip all her dialogue if I can.
Hifumi.
I don't know. I love Hifumi.
Now, I only got to 5 with her, so I don't have their full story.
I mean, I'm not sure how we're doing this tier list, if it's by technical or by character, but...
well, if we're going by technical, Haru's going to be
okay,
here.
No, put her down. I don't want to see her up there with Akechi.
We're going to do it with, like, all of it.
Okay, I think Hifumi has one of the best abilities you get. Like, she has some of the best abilities that you get, so I put her in B, I mean. And she's also really fun. She has a fun little story of she's just really awkward and she's fun to talk about. And you get a cool moment with her in Booktown. So I like her. I think she's a really good confidant.
And I don't think I got to Booktown with her. I think I've only played Shogi with her.
Oh yeah, no. You go with her, so she's super cool.
Igor.
Well, it's not the real Igor, so I'm trying to...
Either or, like...
I don't know, it's just Igor. Both. He's just kind of there, so I guess C. He doesn't really have, like... He's just there to be...
He's a mid-bitch?
He's what?
He's a mid-bitch?
I guess, yeah. I mean, just because he's just there. I don't know. He doesn't really... I mean, he doesn't really have a lot to do. He's just the usual guider.
He just sits there and goes, you have... this for your rehabilitation. All right, Joker.
S.
S?
Yeah, I mean, it's Joker. Like, it's Joker. He can't not be in the S tier of his own game.
So, Joker is whoever you want him to be. So, yeah, I get it. But so
Joker also has a personality. He's a snarky, sleepy boy. Because you can say, I need to sleep, like, every single time. You can always say, I'm worried. And he says things like, you want a piece of this when asking if you want an umbrella. Like, this man has a personality. Looking cool, Joker. Exactly.
So I use Joker from the animation as my Joker for, like, personality wise, and just being like, I'm a dad, that puts him as tier.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the choices you get too, which is so funny. I always choose that choice.
Yeah, so Justine, I know you don't like the twins. She's my favorite, but I'll put her right there. Okay, so Kamoshida. Now,
are we doing this by palace? Because obviously all the bad guys are going to be in F tier.
We only have a D.
Okay, well then all of them are going to have to go in D because they're all awful. So unless we do it by palace.
Okay, so this is what we did for, like, Full Metal Alchemist. So I hate greed, right? No, not greed. No, I love greed. Sorry. I hate envy, right?
Mm-hmm.
but Envy's like the best written character out of the villains.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like because I see Greed as like the anti-hero, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I see Envy as the villain. So like based on how good they were written as a villain is how we rated them rather than how much we hate them.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kamoshida made me want to play the game so much more because I wanted to kick his ass. So
Mm-hmm.
like I would like put him higher up, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I would put him higher than all the other like villains on here
Mm-hmm.
just because like he made me want to play it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get you.
All right.
Oh, this is hard for me because I just hate all of them, and
Oh yeah.
I've played it so many times that I just don't have that thought anymore of which one makes me want to play the game because I just know what I'm getting into.
Uh huh.
So, I think the weakest, just starting there, is I think Okumura is a super weak character and villain, just
Oh
all
yeah.
around. I just don't.
I think he's the worst character in the game. I hate.
Yeah, he just doesn't have a lot of like the other ones. I understand their motivation, not in a good way. Like I don't understand. Like, oh, I could see. No, they shouldn't have gotten to that conclusion. But I could see, like with the Kanashiro, like his entire um his entire thing is like he's insecure, and so he used wealth and power and over people to fill that. And so I think that's interesting. Um but I think it's more interesting than something like Okumura, who just got rich and got into politics.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. So I guess his story is interesting because it does. I think he's the most relatable to the characters that you're playing as. Like this
Mm-hmm.
kind of, but he turns into the one taking over the weak kind of thing. I don't know how to just kind of. It's kind of hard because I just don't like any of them, and none
Mm-hmm.
of them make me want to play the game or anything. They're just there. So I guess I don't know. I don't know. You do that one since you've only played it once. I feel like that one might be easier for you if
All
that's
right.
the context.
So I would probably put him B. And then I just called him like a fat wannabe gangster like the whole time. I didn't
Hmm.
like him at all, but like I get how like his character is, but he felt really weak to me too. So we'll just do the villains now. Madarame, um, you don't like him because what he did to Yusuke, right?
Well, yeah, no, I don't like him, but again, I don't know how like to rate these people. I don't like any of them. So unless we're doing it like I don't know. Like I said, you should probably do this part
Okay,
just because
don't
I've played it so many
rate them
times.
on how good of a villain they were, rather than whether
Oh,
you like
okay.
them or not.
Then the chunky dude goes to D because he was boring and lame. Um,
Okay, cool. We'll put him at D.
Okumura also had lame. Um, Manorame was pretty evil just because he pulled a Breaking Bad and let someone die in front of him. So
There
that's
you
pretty
go.
evil. So I guess put him up more. Shido's like the mastermind, so I guess he would be up there because nothing really would have happened in this game if it wasn't for him because
Hmm.
if he didn't put Joker on probation. Sai's not really a villain. She's just someone who was misdirected, so I don't really know where to
Hmm.
put her. So she's like S tier.
Maruki, that's the
S
last
tier.
villain.
S
S.
tier.
Oh my goodness. That's
S for
that's.
S for simp.
Yep. There you go. Wait, is he a simp or you're a simp for him?
I'm a simp. I love Rookie.
Oh goodness.
Also, I just think him as a villain is really good because he's a. I think his motive is interesting.
The teacher. Now,
No.
no, you don't like her at all.
Well, I don't like that you can date her. I think that's weird. But I think if you couldn't, if she was not dateable, I wouldn't look at her weird. She's fine. I think she's a really good. She's a really good gag because it's funny when you learn that she's the maid. But like that's about it. Like she's fine.
The funny thing is, I sent the thing from the animation to Maddie, and she was like, "It was so good," and then she said, "My student."
Yeah,
So
no, I don't like that. I don't. I avoid it as much as I can.
Let's
She's
move all them
fine.
here. They're all mid bitches.
I think her story, like I said, her story gets ruined by her being like basically a groomer by the end. But I like that she wanted to help another student and got like lambasted for it, which I like that. But it's like it gets ruined because you can romance her, which I think for a couple of the adult ones, just that's kind of how it is. But thankfully, I mean, there's not too many. I mean, there are like half and half, but like I don't know.
All right, we got Makoto.
I really like Makoto just because she was the one I related to the most. I like her palette, like I like her story because I feel like I've been there before. So she also has my favorites.
She also has so much character growth.
Yeah, she does. I really like that. I also like that you can say beep boop to her. It's one of my favorite dialogues to click. So I'd put her at high A. I really like her a lot.
Mishima,
Mishima is the world's punching bag, bro. I'm gonna put him at C for mid.
He's a mid bitch.
Because I still love him. Because he's so easy to make fun of, and that's why he's there.
The funny thing is, like, I've seen some memes where they're like, man, you think you're like, you get a shitty character and you're like, oh, they're just going to lose. Like if you put them in brackets, and then you're like, oh yes, they're against Mishima, so they're going to win.
Yeah, no, I personally think Mishima is really funny. I just think like he has a lot of really funny parts. And and I met his voice actor, he's really nice as well.
Yeah, I did too. Hold on.
Yeah.
Because of this, I'm going to be right back. So entertain the people.
Okay.
Just keep talking.
Hey Kayla, how you doing? Yeah, I know. You have your signed Mishima print. I know. We need to go. We need to meet some more, bro. You need to meet Ryuji's voice actor. He's really nice.
I met him dressed as me. Look. Oh wait.
Yeah, that's the one Kayla has too. Because we met him at Teo when we went as Joker and Akechi.
Yeah. So I got that. So we have Shut Up Morgana. Every time I hear Morgana's voice actor now, I just say Shut Up Morgana because of this movie. And like, I wanted to fight him like at all times. And for the longest time, I kept calling him a girl. And then he's like, I'm definitely a boy. It's like, damn it, Morgana.
Yeah, but then like it goes, if you ever, my favorite is when you do, like when you say definitely a girl, him and Ryuji says, sorry man, like don't, he's like sorry dude, I'm not gonna be interested in you that way, and Morgana goes, same. It's really funny. Like it's one of the really good ones.
And he's an on simp, he's a super simp. So I don't know.
Fine. He's better than the Persona 4 mascot, so I will give him that, because the Persona 4 mascot is probably one of my least favorite characters in the entirety history of video games, because he's the worst to ever exist. So I like Morgana. He can be kind of annoying, and definitely the arc in the Okumura Palace is extremely obnoxious, because I hate that trope of like, if someone just said something, this would have been avoided. I just hate that trope. That's the reason there's certain things I don't like, certain movies I don't like and stuff. So I put him at like high C-ish, like probably higher than Mishima, but lower than the Wardens, I guess. I would probably put him higher than the Wardens, but because you like the Wardens. That's, yeah.
Well, I want to do this, but so now
I was kind of joking about Maruki being S, by the way. It's definitely A. But Maruki's just like one of my favorite villains, because I think his motivations are interesting and kind of relatable, because I think everyone wants to do the right thing and thinks they are doing the right thing if you make someone forcibly happy. But in reality, it's just kind of not great. So I just like him. He has good intentions, but they're misguided, just like Sai. That's just why I think she's also a very good palace leader.
Now we have gotten to best. I don't know how to say that word. Is that supposed to be boy? Yes. How do you say that word?
Boy.
we have gotten to the best character of the game. Ryuji, hands down, S tier. No competition. Ryuji. no competition. Best character. You know, he's basically me. He stole my backstory and everything. So S tier, best, has character growth throughout the whole thing. Always there for the other Phantom Thieves. You know, even Morgana. He's like, we have to go find Morgana. You know, even though he fights with Morgana all the time.
Yeah, no, he cares for everyone. I do like him a lot. He's not my favorite, so he's not in my S tier, but he is a high A, if not like really close to S tier. Just because, like I said, yes,
we'll get there. All right, so Sai. Now, just from her shadow, she should be S tier. You know, just from the shadow.
She just has a very cool shadow. A very cool shadow design. I really like the monster, that like the big mechanical monster. I think that thing is so cool. I also just like her palace, and she's super misguided, super like well written character in terms of having to survive in a very male dominated space, in a male dominated country as well, which is why she's so hard on Makoto when Makoto takes, you know, in her mind takes everything for granted, because she's trying to make her, you know, survive in this world that's against them in a lot of aspects. So I really like her a lot. I also have, you know, criminal justice background, so I think it's cool that I like that there's like a girl who's a prosecutor. I'm like, that's cool.
But she doesn't get to be as good as Makoto, you know, because Makoto's best girl. Yeah, so there's that. So she gets to be an A right behind her sister. Sakura, you know, he's basically a pimp, you know. That's
he's
basically
adorable. He's adorable. He is everyone's dad. I think
he's the boss.
I think he deserves A tier because of how nice he is to Joker and how nice he is to everyone. And when you get good grades in the first semester and your exams, he gives you a belt and he calls it dandy. And he's a softie, even though he acts like he isn't. And I like all the hints that you get that like he's going over to talk to Futaba and stuff. I really like that. So I really like him a lot. I wouldn't call him a pimp because he's a dad. He has all his little, he has all his, you know, his little probation kid and Futaba. I really like Futaba, Joker, and Sojiro. I think it's like the little found family, which I really like that trope. So
all right, we got the little kid.
He's really funny. He has a really good confidant. So I'd say B. He has a really cute confidant. And also he has a hat that says "Get Smoked," which I think is probably the best fashion in the entire
game. And you get some really cool shit from him too. So, all right, and then she just gets to be S tier because reasons. There's
I think she's definitely. Wait, there's someone missing from this list.
Who's missing?
EY.
Who?
The gun. The airsoft guy, the Yakuza guy.
Oh,
he's my favorite confidant, which is why I just noticed.
I thought I had him on here. I forgot him.
Well, when EY would be A tier. He's my favorite confidant, and he's cool.
Okay, we'll put like a. Let me see. Can I draw something on here? No, I can't. I tried. I'm sorry. All right, we got the politician. I never actually talked to him, so I don't know anything about him.
Like B tier. He's so boring. He has nothing interesting. He does nothing. He is like he does less for the plot than Mishima does. Like he doesn't do anything.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't talk to him at all, so I didn't even know. Okay, Yoshizawa.
I love Yoshizawa. I love Sumire. She's very close to S tier for me, but we already have 3 people in there. So definitely high A tier.
Well, you can to here, but
yeah, I really like Yoshizawa. I think she's a really good addition to the game, and just I don't know. I like her story.
I'll let you decide.
I like Makoto better. Better. I think Makoto's better, but they're the 2 I usually always get their rank all the way up because they're interesting.
All right.
Yusuke's S tier just because I like us. I like Yusuke. Yusuke is funny. Yusuke has the best lines in the entire game.
And he's very what's the word? Eccentric, maybe? No.
Eccentric.
I don't think that's
yes. He's the eccentric artist. It's also Matt Mercer, so that helps.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah, definitely noticed that.
and Matt Mercer's just a good voice actor. But I love Yusuke. Everything he says is funny, and he doesn't care what anyone thinks about him at all because he'll say something, and it's so funny.
And then he's like always poor, and like I think
Yes.
Ryuji makes says like a line like, "Wait, you got a gift, but you can't afford food. Like, what are you doing?"
Yeah, and then he'll buy really unnecessary things like 2 lobsters at the beach, and then he'll buy a tiki hat in Hawaii that he didn't need. And then when you have to go to Shinjuku, he says he can't go because he can't afford the fare. The fare is 160 yen, which is about $1.50 in American dollars. Which I think is so funny. That is like nothing, and he can't afford to go. Um, I love him and Futaba's relationship. I like how they're always butting heads.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Inari.
Inari. And then I think the moment he became my favorite is definitely
When they're in the
definitely when they're
church.
in no, and they're in well that part's funny too, but when they're in Shido's palace and he says all the mouse puns and Futaba just ignores him, so then he repeats the mouse pun and then Makoto goes, I think she heard you.
I remember the mouse part was my favorite. I think I messaged you like right. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, I'm a mouse!"
It's one of my favorite lines in the whole game. It's hilarious.
Yeah, uh, the mouse part was awesome. I loved it. So here is our tier list.
It's pretty. I mean, it's probably where I put some people. Like I said, just few I put lower, and I don't really know how to do the palace leaders just because they're all awful people.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, I like awful people, so maybe I'll put them all like above.
Okay, bro.
No, but like, fuck, like some of them I just fucking hated so much. Like, Kamoshida. Like, I was like, let me go in this game and kick his ass. I was like, I was so ready to like kick his ass. I was like, that's what we need to do. I need to go in here and kick his ass. But yeah, so then there's Strikers, which has like an Alice in Wonderland for your first thing. I haven't beat Strikers. I don't like the game enough to beat it.
Yeah, I haven't played that in a long time. I can't honestly remember really anything about it. I did like Sophie though. I thought she was really cute.
I liked Sophie too, but I'm only like the third palace in or whatever, and I was going to beat it, but I was like, this is just like a really bad version of like Fire Emblem Hopes.
Yeah, it's definitely not as fun. I think the story is interesting. It's kind of fun to play the story, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the games like that. Like even Hopes I liked, but I haven't even
Mm-hmm.
finished all the routes in Hopes because I'm not a
Mm-hmm.
huge fan of that hack and slash game play.
Mm-hmm.
But I liked Strikers, but I definitely didn't love it. Like I probably wouldn't play it again if I had nothing else to play.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm kind of ready for them to stop milking Persona 5 and come out with something else like Persona 6.
Now,
Which I'm
did you play the dance game?
Yes. Played a couple levels of it.
I I haven't played it, but
It's just a rhythm game. Like
but
the Hatsune Miku stuff.
Persona 5 Tactics is coming out.
Yeah,
And
I probably won't play it again. I'm kind of sick of the milking. And it's not the same studio. They do like side studios for their side games.
oh,
So it won't be the same studio, which is and I'm not a huge fan of art style and it's not probably just not something I'll put my time into to be completely honest.
I've already
I'd
bought
rather
it.
play something else. Yeah, no, I mean I think it looks fun, but it's not something I'm waiting for Persona 3 Reloaded. I'm very excited for that. I've always wanted to play Persona 3, but
Mm-hmm.
me and my brother played them together and I'm waiting for him to play with me. So I also want them to remake Persona 4 and make it better because I think it has the potential to be extremely good.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, 4 kind of fell flat sometimes. Especially with the mascot because he sucks and a lot of homophobic stuff in it for whatever reason. But not bad.
I'm super excited for the tactics game because it is a tactics game, and those are my favorite kinds of games. So
Yeah, I don't imagine it will be fun. It's
so
probably not something I'll check out. You'll have to let me know how it is.
I get more Ryuji, you know. That's all that matters.
You're true.
But yeah, so that's everything. Unless you want to talk about anything else, Persona wise, that's
Not that I can think of. I'm very bad about just talking about things, but I do very much like Persona, and I'm replaying it again right now because I'm
there
in the
you
middle of
go.
like my 7th playthrough. Oh, what Persona did you get? That was your highest Persona. Like, what was your beefiest Persona?
I got 1 to 99.
Yeah, yeah. Which one was like your favorite 99 one to use for you?
I only had one. It was the Picaro one,
Oh, it was one of the DLC ones.
probably. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
my
Orpheus
favorite
Picaro.
my favorite one was like the one with the harp that had like a thing that you get at like level 22. That I think
Yeah,
I
yeah.
leveled
That's one of
all
the
the way to
DL. That's
60.
yeah. That's I think that's one of the DLC ones.
Is it?
I think that's Orpheus Picaro, the one with the harp.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it has like kind of longish hair.
I don't remember.
That's
You'd have to go to my playthroughs and you
I'll
can
have to
tell
like
what
I'll
it
have to like
is.
yeah. But if it's Orpheus Picaro, yeah, that's the Persona from Persona 3. So it's one of the DLC characters.
Oh well, then I guess I only like the. I tried to take his first persona to like a
Hmm.
high level. I got it to like
Oh gosh,
60,
that's so
and
hard to do.
it was just awful. And I
Yeah,
was like
our sins
trying
got
really
it.
hard. I was like, I want it because it's the first one, you know. And it's like
Mhm.
you gotta like level up your first one. I was
Yeah,
just so disappointed of
yeah,
how
no,
bad it
you
was.
Arsen's not the most helpful persona out there. Yeah,
Yeah.
the one I'd use the most is probably I had Satan, and I had
Mhm.
like a repel physical on him, so I would just I would just like I'd repel everything on him. So I would just sit there and things would just repel off of him, and then I would just use big ice attacks and big physical attacks and just murder everyone. That was my
That's
favorite.
that's the one you get from the doctor, right? Or
No,
no? That's
the one you can unlock from death is Alice, and that one's pretty
uh,
good too. That one's got some really good death moves. Satan, I believe you unlock with I can't remember who he is. Kayla, do you remember which one Satan is? If you're still in the chat, I think he is an unlockable one though. I think you have to unlock him like by getting the max of a
yeah. I
confidant.
think you had to get a level 10 to get him. Because there was a couple that I was like, I can't unlock any of them, and like once I got to 10, I couldn't figure out how to unlock them. So
The
I
calculator online man, your best friend.
oh well, I didn't. The only thing I used online for beating Persona was the test questions because I was like, I don't want to play a fucking school game. What is this?
Yeah, I like doing little school games. I have them all memorized now though, so not as fun because I can't actually figure them out.
There you go. I was
But
like, I think I guessed the first one because I like knew the answer from like actual school, and then I was like, I don't want to do anything else. He was a judgment. Oh, so it's size.
oh yeah, yeah. So it's size then. Okay,
There
that's what I
you
thought. I couldn't remember if it was Judgment or Hangman, but I was thinking I don't think it's EYs that you have to get for Satan.
go. All right. There you go. That is all for us. Next week, I'm going to do Assassination Classroom. So if someone wants to come on and talk Assassination Classroom with me, let me know. Otherwise, I will do it all myself. Wednesday's short little Biggles Bite will probably be Koro Sensei's quest, which is connected to Assassination Classroom. Keep the theme going. And that is all for us. So I'm going to play our little exit, and then that's going to be it. So bye, everybody. Do you want to say bye to the people?
Bye. Bye, Kayla.
Bye.
Love you. This one's for you.
Biggles is here. Hi, says I could be a hooker. Biggles, will your hooker name be Bagels? Mine would be cream cheese. That's my stripper name.